Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is Jackass Retro. My name is Matt, and today is part 3 of our Selling Postcards 101 series. Now, the purpose of these videos and this whole series is for people who are just beginning to get into selling postcards online and on eBay to give you enough tools and know-how to be able to start listing and selling confidently. So today we're going to be talking about basic research and pricing of your cards. So let's go ahead and get into it. This one's going to be a little different than the previous two videos, a little more hands-on and a bit more of a demonstration. So let's go ahead and get started. So there's a few things here that we should definitely, or you should definitely keep in mind as you're getting started here. And that is, the first rule of research is you have to research, right? Especially when you're getting started. I definitely recommend doing some research on every card that you can until you're comfortable enough just pricing it, or knowing what you're going to be comfortable with accepting. It's going to take time. I still research the vast majority of my cards. But I do it in a way that's relatively quick and allows me to gather a lot of data in a relatively short time. And hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be able to do the same. So number 2, leave your FOMO at the door. I mentioned this only because a lot of people get scared about leaving $1 or $2 on the table, or even $5 or $10 on the table. As you're getting started, do away with that. You're going to realize when you've made mistakes. And that leads us to number 3, is that you always pay for your education. It's okay to get it wrong every now and then. A lot of times your price on postcards, if you're buying in bulk, is going to be extremely low. If you end up selling a $10 card or $20 card for $10, or a $10 card for $5, you know what? You made the sale. And sometimes it's better just to make the sale and be able to have that money in hand than to move on. That's a decision you're going to have to make. Number 4, when in doubt, price high and turn on offers. Now, sometimes you're going to do your research. You're going to find plenty of price points. You're going to, be unsure if your card is special or not. It's going to happen. 100% guarantee it. But you know what? If you are ever in doubt, price your card high and just turn on offers and see what happens. I do not recommend auctioning postcards. There's so many auctions on postcards. There is a very good chance that your card is going to sell for far under its value. So if you're in doubt, price your item high, turn on offers, don't auction it. If you're in more doubt, don't list it. Save it for later. Do some more research. When you have enough information to list the item and price it confidently, at that point, go ahead and move forward. Number 6, you know what? When you're getting started, go ahead and just jump in that rabbit hole. If you find yourself going down a huge research hole, trying to find out information on a new postcard, especially when you're getting started, jump right in that rabbit hole. That's how you're going to learn. Take the time. It's going to take time to learn the niche. And it's important, I think, for everybody to allow themselves as much time to go ahead and follow whatever rabbit the research is taking them to. Number 7 is, you're going to have to decide sometimes if you're going to price an item to move, or you're going to price an item for maximum profit. So on, for instance, a more common card, you may want to be competitive on your price, whereas there's some other cards that are a little bit more scarce or desirable for one reason or another. And you may want to price that one higher and try to maximize the amount of money you get out of it. And finally, number 8, I'm not the boss of you. You're going to have to make your own decisions. At the end of the day, it's your business. I'm providing this information as a guide and hopefully as a helpful tool for you. And hopefully you find that it is helpful as well. So let's go ahead and take a look here. There's a few different sites that I recommend getting familiar with. One, of course, is eBay. When you do want to research a card, you're going to want to look at what else is available. So just type it right in the search bar, and you'll be able to take a look at everything available. And what we're going to do here is we're going to be working from this card here. So this is the SRR station at George, South Carolina. All right. So I sold this card recently. It sold on a make offer. It sold for 43 and change. It was up for 55. But how did I come up with that price? So let's take a look here. So we're going to go SRR is Southern Railroad. But when we're doing our initial research, we want to use as few words as possible to try to get as much information as we can and see as many listings as possible. So we're going to go just put station in Greer, South Carolina. That's all we're going to put in this one. Oh, sorry, George, my mistake. Let's make sure we get the place right. George, South Carolina. So we see nothing really for stations or postcards. So we can refine this down and just say postcard. So it looks like we got a filling station and maybe something else here. So not a lot available currently on eBay. I recommend also, of course, you want to look at your solds on eBay. So we're going to go ahead and put in the same thing, Station George, South Carolina postcard. And of course, there's the postcard that I sold. It came up with a price of $54.95. It doesn't tell you that there was an offer taken on it, or I sent out an offer even. The next site that I use when researching prices, or making my price decisions, I should say, is HIP Postcard. So on HIP, there's a lot of postcards that are brought in from eBay, but also there's a lot of cards that never see eBay. So this is another good website to use when you're searching. You can also sell postcards on HIP. I do. A lot of other postcard sellers do as well. It's also a good place to just kind of get some more data points for your pricing research. So we'll take a look here. Now, I don't see any up here on HIP Postcard, but that's okay. We're going to move to our next site. Next is Cardcal. Now, Cardcal is a private website, meaning it's only one seller selling postcards on Cardcal. It's a pretty large site. There's a lot of postcards here. It is just another place where you can maybe get a little bit more information as you're researching your cards. So we'll go ahead and we'll put in our card here. There we go. Not coming up with anything. Still, we've got some other railroad stations. We've got some other cards from South Carolina. We're not really seeing a lot. So we're not getting a whole lot of information here. The next site that I will use is Worthpoint. Now, Worthpoint does cost, I believe, $25 a month. It is absolutely invaluable, in my opinion. As you can tell, so far, we don't have much to go on. We've got the one sold, which is my listing, which this wouldn't even be there if I hadn't sold it recently. Nothing on HIP, nothing on Cardcal. However, Worthpoint, even though it does have a price, we can plug it in here. Now we've got some results. We've got, well, here's that gas station here. Here is Southern Railroad Station postcard here in St. George. we've got the gas station, and there we go. So we've at least got one other card now to go by. Now, what we're looking at here is, when did this sell? 2017. I don't see any other Southern Railroad stations that have come up in the past 10 years, which is how far Worthpoint goes back. So keep that in mind now as we move forward. You can also look on Terapeak, which comes with the eBay store. If you have an eBay store, you have access to this. So we can look at that. Here again, we have that gas station again. And so there we go. Now, when I'm researching a card, what I will do is, and you saw this a moment ago, I will type in my basic word search phrase here, right? So we're going to do, in capitals, station, George, South Carolina. That's it. Now, before I hit search on this, I'm just going to scan it and copy it. All right. So I'm going to hit search here, move to my next tab. I hit paste, search again. We're going to do the same thing here. Paste, search again. Paste, search. And then on Worthpoint, we'll do the same. And then here's the great part. Let's say I'm ready to list the card now. All I have to do is go to this new tab where I've started a listing, and I hit paste. And I've already got the first few words of my title here. I'll have to fill out more of it, of course, with the rest of the card and how I want to title and market it. But I've already got it started. So I've only typed it in one time, and I've been able to just copy and paste it into each one of these listings. And I've been able to get a good idea of several different research sites. Now for this card, because there's nothing out there, I'm going to go back to, when in doubt, price high and take offers, which is exactly what I did for this card. When I listed it, I decided, okay, well, there's obviously not a lot of railroad stations out there. So I'm going to go pretty high on this card and take some offers if it's out there. The other thing we can do is, if we want to get additional data points, we can revise our search a little bit. And we can say railroad station, and then just railroad station for South Carolina. Let's see what some of these other ones go for, right? So we'll do the same thing. We'll just put that in. Oh, put that in there. Back over here. And after a while, you're going to get really fast at this, and you can go through and just look at all this data as in a very short amount of time. All right. So we may want to take a look here. So we've got a few in the $6. Here's an $18 one, but it's not as old. Here we've got some real photo postcards, looks like. So there's some that are available. Let's take a look at the solds. Stamps. We could refine this search a bit with postcard at the end of it if we wanted to, but we're just looking up at, do people collect this thing? And look, there's a good amount of solds here. We've got 28 solds versus what? 210. So that's about a 10% sell through every 90 days. That's not too bad. There's only a couple of stations over available on hip postcards. So they're either selling or they're scarce, one of those two. We have about 18 over on Cardcal, but look at this, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8 of them are the exact same station in Charleston. So there's not a ton available here either. Here on Worthpoint, we may want to just refine this because we've got a lot of... There we go. Now we've got quite a few more results available to us on Worthpoint, and this really is why I say that this is the most valuable price that I pay. What I'm going to do is refine it by best match now. Oh, let's do another search for that real quick. It's taking a little while. But I mean, we can see here's one that sold in Jonesville, South Carolina for $76. Here's Clinton, South Carolina, Union Station for $56. We have Clinton, South Carolina for $40. Here's $45 for another one, Real Photo. Here's Lakeview, South Carolina, another one. So we're seeing now a number of other items that can inform our decision to price, right? We've narrowed this down now. We're looking at, South Carolina. Now, these are sorted price high to low. But if we do best match, there's a lot in the 11, 12, 13, 20, 22. So there is demand. Here's that Charleston station. Look at the difference in prices here for essentially the same postcard. But we got a lot more to work with now. Recent sales, well, let's take a look. Norfolk Railway stations, there's a lot of solds here for railroads in South Carolina. So we've got a lot more to work with, a lot more price points. If we refine this one, again, even more. Keep in mind, this is just sales over the last year. Here's that Charleston card again. Another Charleston. So we're getting a little bit bigger idea, but you know what I don't see here is our postcard. And I don't see that there's a lot outside of these very similar railroad stations. Charleston comes up a lot. The ones that are unique look like they don't stick around for very long. So going back to our initial slide here, when in doubt, price it high and turn on offers. For this card, I would start it at about $54.95 and go from there. I could have maybe even gone higher, but I'm still very happy with what I took on this. So let's take now a look at, we'll do another one. This is a much easier one that's a lot more common, and one that we're not going to have to do quite as much evaluation on. So this is a large letter greetings from Virginia, right? What am I going to price a large letter greetings from Virginia? So this one's real easy. Large letter greetings, Virginia. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing again. We're going to copy that before we hit search. And then we're just going to go pop it in to all of our different search tabs. Now remember, the goal here is we're looking just for some data points, right? To get little pieces of information that we can use to evaluate our pricing, right? How much information can we gather in just to kind of take a look over and then make our decision? So let's go back and take a look. And for this one, we're going to go ahead and finish just by popping this in here. Large letter greetings from Virginia. And then we've got a place to start with on our listing. Okay, here we go. Large letter greetings from Virginia. Well, here's our exact card. This is my listing, so I have it listed at $395. Here's another one at $495. We've got some similar ones here, 3, 10, 4, 5. I mean, there's a lot of results, so we got to look at that. It's 576 results, actually. So they're out there. There's a lot of Virginia large letter greetings. Quite a few less sold. And there's a few out here. So $395, here we go, $398 rather. $249, there's our exact card. $5 here. $270 here. So great. We know that there's a lot of large letter greetings. There's seems to be some sold in the $2 to $5 range. There's 200 available over on Hip Postcard. A lot of them very similar to ours. A lot of them as well in that $2 to $5 range. So we're seeing the same sort of thing here. And again, over on Cardcal, the same thing. They're priced a little bit higher, but you know what? They can do that. They looks like they probably have a floor pricing of around $4.95 or $5.95. Over on Worthpoint, there's going to be some higher priced ones here. There's West Virginia. We're not concerned with that one. Worthpoint on a more common card like this probably isn't going to be as crucial as your other sites. Terapeak. This gives us a much better view of the last 90 days, or last year. So we can see quite a few of these sold and gives us a good sort of guide on the price. There's a lot of $2. Here's one at 7, 4, 3, 6, 5. So there's, they sell though. We can see this, but they're selling at a price range of between 3 and 5. So, going back here, do you want to price it to move or price it for profit? If you're pricing it for profit, you might end up holding on to it for a little while. If you want it to move, we're going to go towards the lower end of the spectrum, right? Somewhere in the $2 to $5 range is probably the place where we want to land this. So when we go to build our listing for this, you've got a good range of prices now, somewhere between $2 and $5 per card. So on a more common card like this, make your own decisions how you want to go about it. But you can go through each of these tabs. And if you're just cutting and pasting the same search terms into each one, it just takes a couple of minutes each card. And as you start doing this more and more and more, you're going to get a lot faster at being able to take in this information and being able to make an informed decision about where you want to set your prices at. This can be adapted to pretty much any other niche as well. If you want to use it for ephemera, there's other sites that sell ephemera. But I really recommend that you get yourself a Worthpoint subscription. I do have an affiliate link down in the comments. This is not meant to be an affiliate advertising. I just use the product and I actually do believe in it. And I think it's probably the most valuable subscription that I've had for my business, even probably more than my own website. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you have questions, please feel free to leave them in the description. I am happy to answer any of those. I do a live show every morning, 5 to 6 days a week. And there are a number of postcard sellers in those morning live shows. If you ever have questions, feel free to stop in. They happen at around 8 a.m. Pacific time. So thank you very, very much for watching. If it's your first time here, you like this kind of content, please make sure you're subscribed. Hit that like button. There are some other ways you can support the channel down below. And thank you for watching.